Next is a fellow alumni of the Conscious Companies Awards. He embodies the conscious strands of creating business value through human values and infuses a deep sense of service in what he does. As the CEO of Sumitomo Rubber South Africa, or Dunlop South Africa, he has carved a distinctive path through his leadership style, driving projects that resonate with a social conscience. Joining us virtually from Japan, Lubin Ozoux.
Hello. It's an honor to once again address you at the Conscious Leadership and Ethics Summit. I'm currently in Japan as we speak, and I'm very disappointed to not be there in person to interact with you. There was so much to take away from last year's summit, but one simple phrase that stuck with me was that of Professor Mervyn King when he mentioned, "What directors don't understand sometimes is that they are the conscious of the company." Now, this has stayed with me and forced me to reflect over the last year as to how I behave and asking myself how much clarity have I created in line with being and setting the conscious of Dunlop Tyres South Africa. How is it taking me and Dunlop Tyres on our journey? In line with this, and as we explore our theme for today, from chaos to consciousness, I'd like to share our consciousness journey as Dunlop Tyres South Africa that we have gone through and how clarifying it as a company is helping us navigate chaotic times. Most companies like ours proudly list their values on their websites, walls, onboarding sites, we all know. Words like integrity, respect, collaboration, innovation, they're familiar. They're even comforting to us, differently to me. These words, we see them often. I certainly did, and I repeated them over and over, believing that repetition was the key. But rarely did I stop to question, what do they mean for each individual in our organization? Is their description definition aligned to mine? Are we on the same page? Do individuals have an emotional attachment to these words? How do cultures influence individuals' interpretation of these? I soon realized that our values had become buzzwords, aspirational to most, but vague. They sound great, but what did they mean in practice? Because I was attached to them, did not mean that others were. How did they help us to ensure we hire, recognize, retain the right persons, that we promote the right person, that we recognize the right behaviors? Looking back, I almost feel like I was driving a culture without having really done the work to earn the right to do so. Let me give you an example. Integrity is perhaps the most commonly cited value globally. But what integrity looks like for one can be fundamentally different from another. For me, it means doing the right things even when no one is watching, and speaking up even if it challenges authority. Now, I've learned for others, it could mean, for example, honoring loyalty and harmony. Or again, for others, it could be about maintaining trust within closed networks, even if that means bending a rule here or there. Now, once we embrace our reality, we're quick to realize that this diversity in interpretation was no longer a problem, but an immense opportunity for us. But it did present a challenge. We needed to define clearly our values, our moral compass in behavioral terms, not leaving them open to misinterpretations, or even worse, inaction. Today, we are well on our journey to define the behaviors we expect as a company, and just as importantly, the ones we won't tolerate. Because culture is not built on what we say we value. Culture is built on what we consistently reward, tolerate, and model. Although we are still refining at Dunlop Tyres South Africa our final list of behaviors, and we don't want to rush it either, as the teams need to be on the journey and embrace it. We now have a list of cool and non-cool behaviors. And these have been developed and they really define the way we work. Now, this process has already created so much clarity in our organization, even though it's still in this infancy stage. We have observed that as and when behaviors are made clear across cultures, when they are explained in a relatable manner, giving real-life examples of these cool and non-cool behaviors, when all your people processes, hiring, onboarding, developing, promoting, rewarding, are aligned, we are seeing that something powerful is happening. The sense of belonging is increasing day by day. The accountability between team members, and not only from team leader to team members, is increasing. They know how to act, they know how to lead, and they now know how to make better decisions, even in these chaotic times. The fear element is starting to feel further away. At the same time, the persons that don't belong start to feel uneasy. In a chaotic world, clarity is power. It has become clear to me that clarity comes not from grand statements of intent, but from conscious choices about behavior. So I leave you with a thought. As leaders, are we simply declaring intent, values, purpose statements, or are we building a behavioral language our people can live by? Because moving from chaos to consciousness isn't just about finding calm. It's about creating clarity, consistency, and connection in how we lead. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the conference.